Hello, and
You are live and recording.
okay. Hi, welcome to the September 2023 CLC Cannabis Licensing Committee for Community Board 2 meeting. As usual, norms, please be respectful. Raise your hand if you have a question. And that's about it. Be good, people. Tonight we have one incoming dispensary on the agenda, Robin Hood Cannabis LLC, DBA Dagmar Cannabis, owned by Jennifer Czar, to my right. It is a adult, it's a
Additional adult
recreational
dispensary.
Sorry, I rushed over it. Carb dispensary, to be located at 412 West Broadway, right here in Soho. It'll be our first dispensary in Soho, which is very exciting.
First legal.
First legal, yes. Thank you for that. It exists in a 4-story commercial building. Previously, it was like a kind of touristy jewelry store called Two.
Yeah.
And hours are, because I can't for some reason pull this up,
We're
10 to 10?
looking at 10 to 9.
10 to 9. And that's about it. Why don't you tell us about it?
Because you can't.
Because I can't pull up my notes.
Oh no.
There's that.
Well, should I jump right into the store or my place in Soho or
So why don't you tell us, hours are going to be 10 to 9.
the 9?
How many staff members will you have?
We'll have about 10 sales associates and about 4, actually 5 executive level positions. Inventory, compliance, in-house compliance, executive assistants, etc. Security, which is why Diesel's here.
Hi, Diesel.
Oh, it's that one.
Okay. I have pulled up my notes.
Okay.
So I mean, so yeah, it is an adult use retail dispensary.
Great.
It is a self-funded location. For those of you that don't know, card licensees can be either self-funded or a fund location. The self-funded.
State funded or guest, right?
State funded. The language
Kinda.
actually is weird and confusing, but it's self-funded or fund location. It's literally
Okay,
what it is.
right. Yeah.
So you are self-funded, you are not using a DASNY, Dormitory Authority of New York State
Right.
location.
Right.
And the design that you've shown us is gorgeous, which we can share with people. Let's see, it's at 412 West Broadway between Prince and Spring.
Yep.
And it is a minority partner, woman-owned business. Let's see what else. So you've done a ton of community outreach, which is wonderful and rare. And we do thank you for going out of your way to really find the stakeholders in your community. Can you tell us a little about the people that you've reached out to and what the response was?
Right. Well, I'm a longtime resident of Soho, and I had to leave 12 years ago for a fire. So this is my opportunity to come back, and I'm very happy about that. I still know a lot of people in the community. I know a lot of residents. I have a family basically at this point. So I've reached out to all of those, and they've all, because of my broken foot. A lot of residents have also been helping me spread the word and get community support. I've also been going to all the local businesses, all the art galleries across the street, Ordinary next door, all the clothing stores on the street. People have been popping by to ask me what we're doing. Just generally spreading the word, and have received actually really positive response.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I saw some of those letters. Got a beautiful one from Sean Sweeney.
Oh, that was, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then I got in touch with, Sean Sweeney. That was amazing.
Yeah, he's really, really said some great, really nice things. All right, so the usual stuff, we're gonna go over. And probably Diesel, you can talk about this, the sidewalk management plan, your crowd control plan, will you be utilizing stanchions and ropes? Security plan.
So there's like, been working on this for a while now. Basically bringing up a lot of experience from where I currently am in lead security. Basically there since the beginning of it all. I was around when the line was wrapping around 3 blocks. We didn't have card machines, taking in cash every day, $100,000 a day. But one of the things I really focused on is safety of the guests, safety of the workers, the most important thing. So basically what we're gonna do is we are gonna be using stanchions, obviously for crowd control, but we're also gonna actually fluctuate with security guards. And my experience, yes, I've managed these lines by myself, no issues. But also we're gonna have several guards outside, just making sure things are going well, that people are having a good time, and nothing like, I guess, out of the ordinary is happening. But as far as like the inside is concerned, obviously, we'll have points set up where security should be. That way everything is not nicely monitored in person and obviously from CCTV. But working with Jennifer and the rest of the staff, I think we're going to come up with a really nice plan for everyone involved. So currently, well, my team usually knows what to do when I'm not at work. But one of the things that I want to focus on is making sure that all perimeters of the place is secure. We will have SOPs there. We will have post orders for the guards. Guards will, and we'll do this not just with live on-site training, but background training as well. So what I've done is I've set up an entire course for guards coming in who will be potentially working at not just at this dispensary, but we hope others. So we're going to have mock training. Guards coming in, seeing as I'm looking to open up security firm just for cannabis and just for cannabis locations. I think it would be really nice because one of the things that I've been seeing, especially with monitoring other stores that are around, I don't say monitoring, I'm not like, on the background, but whenever a store opens, I usually like to go and see what the security is looking like, how they're interacting with guests, as well as what are their points of the rendezvous points, just in case something happens. The internal things that will determine the success of the business, not only the success, but make sure that we remain crime-free. Very, very important. I came into the industry thinking that I was only going to stay 2 months. I'm almost there a year now.
Wow.
And I'm every day I'm excited about it because it's another opportunity to make sure that our guests, as well as our friends who work around us and with us, are safe, but also having a really good time. Because we want this to be an exciting experience. This is new to New York, obviously, but we want to make sure that everyone understands that the things that we are bringing to our city will be successful and prosperous.
That's why I really liked Diesel too, rather than having somebody at the door. I mean, obviously he's intimidating because of his size, and he has a military background, but he's warm and welcoming, and I don't want to be a terrifying presence in Soho. I want the store to be beautiful. I want it to be civilized. I want people to feel warm and welcome and feel warm on the street.
And which I've considered feedback from our guests that I currently see. Of course, I don't really like to engage in, to me, it's not honorable to talk about other folks when they're not in front of me. As I would tell to a guest that's probably had a negative experience at another dispensary. The only thing that I can be responsible for is making sure they're welcome with open arms. And that they're given the benefit of doubt to come in and shop safely and get a really good experience while they're doing that. Some of the reviews that I have heard was the guard at the front door was not very nice. One guard said, "Why are you here?" All those to me doesn't spell out let's say compassionate, empathy, sympathy. Doesn't really we had a guest last week who just came from a funeral. And she had shopped at one of the local ones beside our store. I didn't know that until this was explained to me, but the experience that they had was very distasteful. So, of course, it was another opportunity for me to be me and just make sure that I can speak with them briefly about, what happened, or, let them know that I empathize, and then let them know that they have a warm welcome walking into the place so that they can get what they need. And then someone surprisingly wrote a review, and they didn't write a review, they sent a direct email, and I didn't know. But I was very happy to see that email and know that I was able to touch those people. Yes, I am big. You can see me from a block away, but I don't need to assert that. The idea is making sure that people know what's in here, because they can read the disgenuineness as well.
That's wonderful. All right, so you will not utilize any outdoor space for any reason?
No, I would like to put some planters outside and just make it pretty and lush. But there's nothing we need to do outside other than, but we will use the extensions along the front of our space.
Do you expect huge crowds? Well, in the beginning.
I don't know what to expect,
Well,
but we're.
Keep it up, you'll get them for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm preparing for that, and of course, I hope that would be really amazing, but I'm very aware of not disturbing my neighbors with neighborhood.
Because I see you're not doing like a big launch. Are you sure?
We're gonna have a launch event.
Party?
Yeah,
Okay, because we asked on the questionnaire whether you were gonna close for private events.
I think I wrote that it's just an opening event, it's the only I'm planning, but no, I don't plan on closing for events.
No.
Oh, really? I did? Wait a minute, I remember writing that though. Okay, no, I definitely want to do an opening event, and then the only thing other than that would be smaller things, like maybe having like a farmer come in or more educational.
So like
farm visits.
educational
Yeah,
programming.
yeah, but
How often, and will that be open to the public? Will you do that in a different part of the space?
yeah, I would imagine doing that during business hours. In the day, like farm visits, not like a big party or evening event or anything like that. I have no plans to do that.
Okay. Debaters. All right, so I'm looking at, you guys all got the questionnaire, yeah? So we're clear on the security plan, the ADA compliance. I mean, the really unique thing, as we've learned about cannabis dispensaries, is it's so regulated. A lot of the stuff that we typically are concerned about with licensing committees, we kind of don't have to worry about because the state is doing a lot of that work for us in a much more active way than I think with SLA. So that's good for us, a little less work for us. This time I'd like to introduce my committee and the CLC committee, not mine, even though you guys are all really close to my heart. Yes, the team, and find out if they have questions for you. So,
Yeah, just regarding the stanchion place. Is it just a single one right against the glass
Yeah,
facade? You don't plan on doing, wrap around?
I mean, do you think we would ever need it? I know,
I mean, considering the area that you're in, this could be especially on the weekend. I
right.
noticed that the weekend could
It
probably
can
be
get really
very
busy down there.
Like I know this weekend is a big weekend in the area. What I would say is that actually could be measured
Yeah.
during the time, I guess. So basically like before the opening, I can definitely like take a look and basically have a better idea of where the stench is placed. So I've met a few members of OCM a few times. The unique thing about East 8th or Broadway over there is that there's so much space because there used to be the Gap and then the Baby Gap. But I know that in this place, in this area, there's more like other shops along the street. I think that we can figure out a really nice way to actually like organize the line. That way it's not necessarily cutting into the other businesses.
No, just if you end up doing the, wrapping around a little bit, just making sure you do have enough sideway width.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
absolutely.
right.
If you plan on putting planters, right? It's just how
Right.
far out you can actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
important. So like, one of the things that I've measured the distance with my actual measuring tape, and I've instructed, my fellow guards already. I don't want this blocking off half the street. Pedestrians need to walk. This is important because when if you do not have a line, what'll happen is pedestrians I've seen it a number of times, they'll come through the stanchions. And like, we welcome them through there, but when you have a line, we have to make sure that, the pedestrians still have ample room. Because remember, there are families walking down the block, there are friends walking down the block. It's like, I want to make it so that it's organized in such a way where we can still have a line, but also still leave enough room for people to walk. Let's say there's a group of 3. We want them to be able to walk safely without feeling.
Because there are a few shops on West Broadway. In front of them, they have these vendors.
Yes.
So just
Right.
make sure you don't have
Oh.
vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh, right.
And then
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know about your particular shop outside. I can't.
Oh, there's been vendors on and off.
Art vendors and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So
yeah.
let's double check on that. And then since we don't have a map of the exterior,
Oh, we-
okay.
Good night.
Question here.
Oh, that is,
Large enough lobby area for.
right, so that is, yeah, that's really, I was actually gonna mention that before you even brought it up. So it's a small building, but we spent a lot of time figuring out how to just get really good flow
Okay.
going there. So it's like in and out and in and out, not a lot of standing around.
And then one last thing is the POS system. Is it purely credit only, no cash?
Which I think is also pans out really good too, because it leaves the at-risk on not risky.
I mean, maybe from a security perspective, just not having cash on hand.
Yeah.
But
It-
from an equity perspective,
Yeah.
there are people who don't have access to credit or debit cards for
Right.
whatever reason.
Um,
That's a consideration.
I misunderstood your question. We will accept cash.
Oh, you
Yeah,
will? Oh,
yeah, yeah. But there's we'll also, we're working with the service that uses debit cards as well.
Okay.
That was a big thing in the beginning, that you couldn't use debit because of the banking system, but there's a loophole now where we can use debit cards.
And I commend you on your entrepreneurship program.
Thank you.
Good old days. No debit card receipt.
I know, right? So. Going to share the layout. So how are you gonna utilize, well, I'm gonna go back to the thing. That was Anthony Wong, by the way.
Hi,
Patricia Laria, Cheryl Wu, Miss,
Hi.
and
Hi.
William Benish, and of
William.
course, wonderful, beloved District Manager, Mark Diller. Questions?
I had one. What sort of education will you be providing patrons? You said we're gonna have farmers come in. Can you elaborate on like what that would be?
So legally, we can't, as a recreational dispensary, we can't give medical advice. But, just learning about the plant itself, the terpenes, the CBDs. I mean, it's a complex plant, so there's a lot to teach there, and also just the farming methods, and how things are processed and. Yeah,
So I have 2 questions.
No, go.
All right, thanks. First one, I think there's some discrepancy. Is it, when are you open? Is it every single day? Because it says Monday to Friday, but then there's another place that says,
no, every day of the week.
are you opening every day of the week?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Is that what yours says too? You have the right questionnaire. Is that what yours says?
Yeah, I mean, it's right here.
Nice.
I'm sure it's just a. Yeah, so it is like.
Yeah, but
Sunday.
also the opening event, I'm sure I wrote that down, but what might have happened is my manager might have filled it out. And submitted
Oh, maybe,
his.
or maybe I just messed it up.
I don't know.
It is-
Yeah, definitely every day of the week though, yeah.
Yeah, because
That would be really weird. Good question. Oh, no.
No, it's right here.
Maybe that's not like that.
That's so weird. I don't,
Did somebody go in maybe after and?
I don't know. I mean, they're not supposed to. He worked on it first and then I went in and I was just like, no, I need to do this. Thanks for doing that, but I need to do it. And then I went, in. So, yeah, I had him upload. I wonder if mine just didn't get up. That's not what I wrote at all. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay, but
Uh,
7 days a week, I think makes more sense.
Yeah. I didn't go through all this work to be. Yes, yeah.
My other question is, which I really appreciate that it's all women, you know, like you guys are walking the talk.
Yeah,
But there was a paragraph, I think, where you said that your company is gonna try to work with justice involved individuals to get them integrated into.
no, I don't think you have the right app. No.
Does it not say that? Wait, hold on a second.
Where did we
What?
see that?
Yeah, I see it in my birth.
Yeah, collaboration with justice and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't know where this came from.
Mark from Freescape?
Yes, Firescape, yes, the one that, yes, no, that's, no. I handed him I hand wrote it and I told him to, but
We
it's,
have a great program.
Yeah.
That we did see in.
yeah, for women in entrepreneurship and
Oh.
mentorship for women, yeah.
Also,
Yeah, women is a big part of it, but not reintroducing justice involved people, that's not. I'm not qualified. I had an accident, I'm reforming myself.
Do you want to share your story at all?
You would like me to? I've told it so many times.
Are you all familiar with Jennifer's story?
I saw it in the book.
Yeah, you can Google me. It's like of all things I've done in my life, but somehow be the most.
I was like, when she first told me, I was like, whoa, like how many people can say that?
Yeah, it's bananas.
Bananas.
And it happened right
Right
here.
here, I mean, actually, it happened like, I lived, yeah, or I'll tell my story. So I lived in Soho for 21 years. I got pregnant with my daughter when I was 21 and I'm from Minnesota. I wasn't married. I raised her without child support or any family help. From the age of 21, I lived in a small tenement apartment on Thompson Street. I just kind of worked hard and worked my way up the ladder and became a photographer, eventually became a successful photographer. And then the photo industry started to change. There just wasn't a lot of money in it anymore. And I mean, also there's no magazines, there's no record covers anymore. Like, all the things I was making a living doing were just kind of collapsing. And then my daughter became ill when she was 17. She was pretty much bedridden from 17 to 24. Nobody could figure out what was wrong with her. We now know she has something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but it took years to figure that out. But I was just spending all my money. I was taking her to every like Eastern, Western, like, just trying to figure out what was wrong with this poor girl. So I was running out of money and I did, at kind of the height of my photo career, I bought land in Mendocino in Northern California, right on the coast. I bought 20 beautiful acres, had nothing to do with cannabis. But all my neighbors were growing. And so I'm flying back and forth from California to New York. And one of my neighbors asked if I knew anybody in New York that wanted to buy weed. And I said no. And she's like, well, if you ever meet anybody, like you can make all the money doing very little. So I filed that away. And then back in New York, I had somebody in the fashion business asking me if I was growing in Mendocino. And I said, no, but my neighbors are. And he said, can you get me some? And at some point, I just needed to make money. So I got in touch with this person. I got in touch with my neighbors out in California. And I started to have weight shipped out. I stayed up for 3 or 4 months, making a lot of money very quickly and very easily. And then my building I lived in for 21 years catches fire. And they found, they said they found 10 pounds in my apartment. There's actually 11 pounds. And,
What happened? to the animal?
I don't know, because only the fire department and the police department were the only people allowed in the building overnight, but I got arrested in the morning. Yeah, I got chased out in the middle of the night in like barefoot in my underwear. I woke up in the middle of the night, the whole building was quiet, I could smell smoke, there's glass breaking. Ran out of the building in the middle of the night, went to a friend's, went back in the morning to get my toothbrush and phone and something. The police officer called my name and I got arrested. And then ended up in Rikers, spent a week locked up, it made the news, obviously. And it pretty much decimated the last of my photo career. I was still getting work, but I just never made money from it. And then my landlord, who knows how the fire started, but my landlord started offering all the rent stabilized people in the building. There's 72 units. He started offering people buyouts to not come back. And I was one of the rent stabilized people in the building. And he first he offered me $20,000. I just wanted my apartment back. I mean, that was my home. It was teeny, but teeny 1-bedroom. My daughter had the bedroom, I had the living room. But I just wanted to wait. So I moved upstate because I couldn't afford to be here anymore. And I was still dealing with my daughter's health and ended up in Hudson, New York. And for 3 years, I waited to get my apartment back. Finally, he offered me $175,000. And so that's enough money to start a business. And I was in Hudson, New York, and I could tell it was about to become a tourist explosion. And I invested and opened a bar. And Hudson ran that for 5 years. Really bored in Hudson, and rather than renew my lease, I picked it up and moved it to LA. Decided I was going to write screenplays and make movies. And I get out there, and then the pandemic hit. So I moved the whole bar out there. The pandemic hit, and that took a while to get that business open. I finally got that business open. It was successful. Didn't love LA. I missed New York, and then this opportunity popped up, and I was like, "This is amazing," because you have to be a woman or person of color, justice involved, prior cannabis arrest, and have run a successful business for longer than 2 years, and I qualified. So I dropped everything, ran back to New York, spent my last penny, and then a lot more somehow I made it, and I got licensed. Now I'm back here in Soho, and happy as can be.
Good.
Thank you, sorry.
Did you close the bar in LA? Or just-
Yeah, I closed it August 29th, so that was like less than 2 weeks ago.
I'd love for you to talk about why you ended up closing your bar and the
In LA?
current state of card. And really how that's affected you.
Right, so I closed the bar in LA because while I was there and I first got it going in the first 9 months after the pandemic, it started to go really well. Then when I dropped everything to come back here, it just started like the wheels started falling off. Like I'd go back to LA and it'd just be like, it just stopped working. Like you need a presence, you need somebody to care. It was a new business, you needed to really be there. So, and you know, I made kind of a living off of it and enough to go back and forth, but just, you know, I was making less and less money and it's not worth it. It's not what I want to be doing anyway. It's not my dream job. And I don't want to be in LA. So I quit. And then, and then the second half of what was the question?
The current state of card and how that's affecting you.
Junction, that's what I thought you asked. How's it affecting me? I mean, we're on hold until they lift it. It sounds like they're gonna put the general application in October and then the injunction will be lifted and I'll just be able to like move forward. I like how you're nodding your head, yes. I'm nervous. I mean, it's just, I put so much into this. It's so hard to do this. You know, so it feels, and also my foot's broken, so I just kind of feel like I'm like, stuck, but you know, we're moving along fast.
Yeah, you guys
You
are
know,
very close.
Yeah, we're very close.
Hopefully you'll be able to open soon.
Yeah, October.
Well,
I hope.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Could be another law.
No.
Yeah.
There could be, there could be.
October 4th.
Yeah.
When we go into business, we'll do a little blurb on what's going on in cannabis right now.
No, I was just gonna ask, can you talk about on-site consumption?
Not doing,
Not doing it.
no, we don't have room for it. I don't believe, it just, I have 2 bars, but the idea of
Yeah.
like, into people, especially.
So you're not gonna have this the lounge?
No, no,
No, so
No.
I know it said
So,
the
so
deck.
beautiful.
Yeah, it looks-
yeah.
It looks really
Thanks, thanks.
Okay. But no
Well,
more.
you're all welcome to come by too. Anybody's come by and do a site visit.
Dominique,
It's starting to look like something, yeah,
Yeah, all come.
yeah, please.
So yes, the original deck did say consumption, but
Right.
that was probably before you realized the
Yeah,
challenges associated with
Yeah,
consumption
yeah.
in New York.
Also,
It's going to be like cost prohibitive to pretty much
it doesn't
everybody.
make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Also, you can't even smoke indoors in New York. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Go chew a gummy and like, it just doesn't make
through
sense.
the couch. Yeah.
I could do this on my couch.
I know.
So I have a few more questions, then we're gonna take questions. Oh. You put out the planters. I don't believe so.
No, no planters.
No, and the building's not landmarked, is it?
No, not that I know. No, it's 1940. 412 Broadway.
It's in the store.
Right. Right, that's what I thought, yeah.
And how big are these planters gonna be?
No, I didn't get there yet. I'm open to suggestions or no planters, but I mean, I would like to just to make it pretty, but
I think if you place out the planters, just make sure you bring them in. There's some restaurants that you can just leave.
yeah. Yeah, like that whole block was actually like some of those big ones that are,
Get back towards your building.
right, right.
Yeah, I mean, I would personally like to see smaller rather than bigger.
Okay. Okay,
There's just so much going on the
Right,
streets these
right.
days, like
Oh, yeah.
we all start fitted, you know.
was trying to get, there's an empty like tree. It's actually in front of Ordinary next door, but there's an empty like tree thingy with a stump in it. I was trying to get the city to plant a tree. They have plant a tree program, but it takes 2 years to get a
You
tree.
can do that on your own. There's an empty pit.
But there's a
Oh, the
huge
stump
in
is
it,
there.
so it's like, what am I gonna do?
Oh, the city council.
Yeah. Okay, all right. We'll talk, we'll talk. It
The
needs to
city
tree.
council people love nothing more than planting trees.
Really?
I mean, it's the most popular thing you can, nobody opposes.
What it is now is basically a stump, the stump with a bunch of weeds
is.
in it, and everybody puts their trash.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Is that, talk to our,
What's that?
right?
Are the 311? They can enter a couple of.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
I think it's Chris Martin.
oh, yeah, yeah.
I think,
The brothers are from mine, that's good.
Oh, very good.
Chris new tree.
any more questions? So we will take questions from CB2 members. Emma, hi. Do you have any questions? No? Well, hi, and thanks for coming.
Awesome. No questions for me.
Fantastic. Do we have any questions from the public? Seeing none. Okay.
Am I off the hook?
You're off the hook. Anything else you want us to know?
I can talk to like 1 or 2 people at a time, but.
So to be clear, we don't really have specific opening date due to the injunction, the card injunction. But we'll let you know when we know. And, I guess, you would agree to the stipulations that we've discussed. Really, it's just your hours, the planters will be in there, music level, background,
Form and background.
and just that one event. Besides daytime educational events, no
Yeah.
evening events.
No big parties, no loud music.
And you
Nothing
have
crazy.
very capable security. How many security will you have?
1, right?
Yeah.
The space is
And that-
not huge.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah, it's pretty tiny. And it's on a very busy Soho block of the shoppers. Have you guys, when you talked to the precinct, did you reached out to the NCO?
Yeah, I left messages and.
You know, you're back.
On the week got back.
And the good news is that, so I've been working closely with.
But it's,
like, local
oh, it's the
police,
first,
they're-
Yeah.
and you're dealing with the fifth.
Yeah,
Okay,
but even the fifth, they, from what I know about those guys over there, pretty, like they're pretty on top of things, and I always try to keep, actually we had, because I think our mom actually went off the other day, and you came by and they were like, first thing I had to call, what's up, Diesel? I'm like, man, I haven't seen you guys since like February. I go, "'Cause we know you're holding it down over here." And I go, that's the way we do things, you know,
Right.
but I try to keep a very outstanding relationship with them as well, because we're all collectively, I think, involved, and I think we all want to see the prosperous business.
Yeah.
It's great.
So I know that the fifth is especially focused on shutting down and helping however they can the illicit dispensaries. So
That's really good to hear,
you
actually.
should let them know.
Yeah.
Take them off the neighborhood, see
Yeah,
who's where.
I'm definitely
Sure.
compiling a list.
I already
Yeah.
have. I already have.
Do you
Good, good.
do you know who to turn like that list into?
There are
Should I s-
many
go
people,
to-
I have a list.
Yeah.
I just sent to everybody. If we can find out who the landlord is of those buildings, that is great
Yeah, that's-
information
yeah.
for our city council to have. They just passed a bill that allows them to hold landlords accountable that knowingly rent to illicit dispensaries. Your council person is one of the sponsors of that bill, I believe. And also the DA's office can go after landlords, which in my personal opinion is the most effective way
Yeah,
to really shut these places down. So, but you send to everybody, send it to OCM, you send to Sheriff Miranda, and even your local precinct, just so everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
Okay? Oh, we have a question. Yes, Darlene. So Darlene, did you speak
Yep,
to Darlene?
yeah, you tell me about Jolene, and I emailed.
You know. Alright.
Hi, Mar. Hi, it's Darlene Lutz.
Hi, Darlene.
Hello, everybody. Let's get crazy. Welcome to Soho, and looking forward to the first, legal sales point for weed here in our neighborhood. As the committee knows, I am your local and friendly connection to the first precinct. I am on the first precinct's community council. So I put my information in the chat. Feel free to contact me. I can, we can have a little round table with the point people at the precinct, because obviously you're legal and, this is all, this is good. So we want to, have some personal contact there.
Thank
And
you very much.
facilitate that and,
Yeah,
Go.
thank you so much. I did email you this weekend. I don't know if you got it, but also, I'm available too. I would love to speak to you.
certainly, I'm gonna check I hope it came into my email. I didn't see it, but regardless, I'll have a look in that spam folder because I didn't see one come in. I have to rush out to a concert, so good luck, and we'll
Thank
be.
you. Thank you, Darlene.
Darlene. Okay, all right, last
Okay.
call. That's it.
Okay, thank
We're-
you guys. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
So much. Thank you.
Jennifer. Thank you, Diesel.
Anytime.
Really, we are gonna be waiting for that invitation.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be nice. I get excited about it. It's like, well, every single time I hear the new dispensary open, I'm like, it's good.
I know, we need
So-
more and more and more of hard dispensaries.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
exactly.
Without-
Exactly.
Without a doubt.
All right, well, we're gonna go into business session. You are more than welcome to stick around. You cannot participate. Can please drop. We're just gonna discuss the resolution.
I'll let you guys be.
Oh, yes.
Limp my way out of here unless you want me to stay.
It was so nice to meet you. So, yeah.
Yeah. See you too.
All right,
Thank
To
you
the
very
point where I
much.
get to actually stand up again.
stand up.
Usually don't get this opportunity for 12 hours, but.
Bye, guys.
Hey, guys.
Bye-bye. You find that.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
well.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
I mean,
It's break a leg. Yeah, right.
Okay, so, our standard resolution, I have made some updates to reflect the final reg, which are not at all different than the last regs, or really the regs before that. Too much. I did send them to you guys earlier today when they were voted in this morning. That did happen this morning. So I just updated the links. The language is all the same. And for this one, as far as the steps, minimal changes to the facade, exterior, we'll put in the planters. Do we want to talk about like the size of the planters? Do we care? Are we going to trust that they won't? I mean, really, I guess the language is not to interfere with pedestrian access.
Minimally obtrusive.
To bring them back to work.
Yeah, and
And bring them in.
bring them in.
Retractable.
Close up. Supposed to.
Yeah.
Some to what?
Provided you followed all the DOT guidelines, right?
The landmarks question, I don't know the answer to.
I don't think so.
No, it looks like the building's brand new.
Yeah. Oh, it already says that manage customer to steward the sidewalk in front of the premises to ensure pedestrian access, and we'll put more specific language in. No music or sound will be audible, adjacent, background level. You told the truth,
No consumption.
no consumption on there.
They are adding the cash option.
They what?
Cash option.
Cash option. She said yes. I think her partner, one of her partners, went in and filled out the application after she did it and dated it. So there's a yes, she says yes to a cash option. I think we should put that in there.
Did the city council, are they still pushing for that? You know,
The banking?
yeah, getting rid of credit card only places.
Yes, I think it's a law now, isn't it? You can't be credit only in any store. It's against the law. Mandatory.
I think some restaurants have gotten fined for that.
Yeah, I don't
Sure.
think that you're allowed to do that.
Green is credit.
Sweet Green is cashless.
I think that, I don't know if they passed it or they were still talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the story. Van Leeuwen paid 33,000 fines because they refused to accept that.
Yeah, I think it's against the law. But I certainly have myself encountered places that are cash only. I mean, they've signed.
Cash only is fine, but you can't be cash.
I mean, not cash only,
Card.
card only, cashless. Sorry, we're cashless. Beginning November 19th, 2020, stores must accept cash unless they have a machine to convert cash to a prepaid card, which I have seen in one dispensary. Who has that? Yes, somebody has that, one of those. So you put the cash into the machine and it spits out a card, which represents cash. I don't know if there's a fee for it, actually. I don't think there is. There must be.
They can't, the law says they can't charge more for paying in cash, so I think if there was a fee, that would effectively be charging more for paying.
Prohibition of cashless establishments.
Okay.
So we'll put the cash in there. And we'll put in accordance to whatever the law is. Education programming, stanchions.
A little weird, though, the questionnaire, do you think?
That was a little weird. But I have been speaking to her a lot. And
I get the impression it's all changing pretty quick, like.
And
the
she has a
new
business
updates
partner.
And the business partner,
Going on that.
yeah.
with a business partner who's not gonna be involved in the day-to-day, so.
October is hopeful, but we're waiting on the state, so she just. A lot of it's out of her control, maybe. I don't know.
Well, the real danger here, I mean, even beyond this application, this licensee is that there are people like her who are in the exact same situation. They have a build out, they've been paying rent. Some people have been paying upwards of like 40 and 50 and $60,000 a month rent in anticipation of opening.
This was in the Gotham.
Was there another story? There were a bunch of them.
It was today, and it mentioned Chris Marte's brother who invested $1 million.
After paying 40 grand a month, he's a huge building, gigantic build out. And he can't, and he's ready. He's ready to open, but he's also not the only one. There are several people like that. Like when I spoke to Jennifer last week, she was already ready. And as long as they're ready, they've got staff in place. People are going bankrupt. There was a woman at the meeting this morning who literally broke down in tears and said, I have emptied my son's college fund. And that is the third time I've heard that from a card licensing. That if this doesn't work out, that's it. There are potentially over 400 people on the verge of bankruptcy right now. Think about it that way. Potentially, because there are 463 licenses that were issued, 23 operating cannabis businesses. It's 440 people who are just sitting here like.
When are people saying it be lifted?
Well, so if general licensing opens on October 4th, I don't see how they could. There's a
They mooted that.
possibility that card will have to reapply. That all the card already licensed people may have to reapply
In the general.
in the general licensing.
That sounds great.
It's not,
Defeats the entire purpose.
well, yeah.
If in some cases, we're sort of counting on the cops just doing the same thing, just letting all of this sort of stay out of hand, like ignoring it in that sense, like as soon as everybody opens up through the application process, people won't be getting shut down despite already having card and reapplying for card, right? Who knows? Sorry.
No idea. No, so everybody who's already open is
All right, good.
according to the judge,
Okay, good.
because how are you gonna shutter?
The operating business. Yeah. Good.
But there are people who are on the verge.
Yeah.
Like they've done their trainings, their staff is in place, everything was done, and now they literally cannot open their doors. They're just sitting in these, stores.
Money pit. Yeah.
Or money pits, exactly.
The office Osian, this bureaucracy.
No, there's a lawsuit.
It's a judge.
Read what I sent you. Cheryl just got back from vacation. A summary, you want a summary of the lawsuit?
Yes. For me, for my benefit.
So, at the beginning of, well, I guess in July, but the court date came up in August, a group of veterans, service disabled veterans, brought a lawsuit against the OCM and the Cannabis Control Board, stating that the CARD program, the social equity program, the state of New York instituted, called CARD, Conditional Adult Use Retail Dispensaries, is unconstitutional. It did not pass the legislature. It was implemented outside the MRTA. They felt that not being able to participate in CARD, as they did not have qualifying convictions, and were not members of nonprofits with a significant presence in New York and a history of supporting disabled, justice-involved individuals, that it was basically, I'm using my own word, discriminatory towards them to lose first mover advantage because of that. I'm not going to speculate on who's actually funding this lawsuit for them. There are other parties involved in the lawsuit. They're actually considered non-parties, which are the Coalition for Access to Safe and Responsible Cannabis, I believe. That's a mouthful. They represent the ROs, the registered organizations, which are the medical cannabis corporations, and then the MSOs. Well, the MSOs and ROs, multi-state operators, which are national and multinational, in my opinion. I don't want to say anything that's going to get me sued. Big corporations. They're just big corporations that have their hand in a lot of cannabis across the country and across the world. They are peripherally involved, sometimes intersectional with the ROs, because a lot of the MSOs also are ROs. And then we were talking about costs and also status, and one other card licensee has also joined the suit as a non-entity, it says in the paperwork. And of course, the Attorney General lawyer who represents the state, meaning the OCM and the CCB. And so that's everybody that's involved in the lawsuit. First, we thought that there would be an exemption. The OCM issued 30 ready to open dispensaries for exemption. And the judge said no. And then they issued another 12. I believe the last 12 from a few days ago were all DASNY sites. And the judge said no. And so going forward, the court will consider exemptions on a case-by-case basis, provided the state not only furnishes the court with a list of post-selection deliverables, like every step necessary to get a dispensary operational, but also proof that these places are operational and everything's been done from, the ADA accessibility to the final OCM walkthrough. So that's where we are today. There's a court date on Friday. And we'll see what judge has in store this time. And that's it. So are we done? Are we okay on the reso? Standard reso with.
We need to vote?
Yeah, we do need to vote. So all in favor? Any opposed? All right, they know. We're voting, what are we voting for? To approve or deny unless? Approve.
Well,
I'm okay with approve.
approved with steps,
Right, approve with steps.
same as.
Yeah.
Space.
All right, again, approve with steps. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes. All right. Fantastic. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Second. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Good October.
Great, great meeting.
Meeting, yeah.